back here from the 2022 NFL Draft. Keegan Hartman alongside Brandon Anthony. Still had some network issues. We really got to get this figured out tomorrow, man, for real. Honestly.
For sure.
Look, here's the thing. We've been trying. We've been trying to get this Wi-Fi situation figured out, but we've been in quite the predicament. And then we got caught up with the food. Look, the food they're serving here, we went to the 2019 Nashville, the draft in Nashville. And I'm a big connoisseur when it comes to food, as you can tell. I got a little bit of a gut myself. And I'm going to tell you right now, between the two, Vegas killed it. Vegas killed it on the food. Food, 10.
You got the steak versus...
Yeah, you got the steak, the salad, the rolls, a little stale. But anyway, all right. So we get into the 2022 NFL Draft, and a lot of action has gone on. We can go ahead and give some analysis right after this. Actually, I'm going to turn over the mic because Roger Goodell is on the stage making a pick for the Saints. The Seattle Seahawks traded with the Saints. They were looking for a trade partner. Now they finally found one. Let's see what the Saints...
It was the Commanders.
Commanders
excuse
me.
Yeah, 16 up to 11.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me.
Yep.
As we are here on the Breakfast of Champions, and we are, I didn't even record on the audio here as we're getting back into picks and whatnot. As I'm getting adjusted here, give me 1 second. All right. Waiting on this. We're just waiting on this pick. Before we get into this, I'll just turn it over.
It doesn't get much better than this. Thursday night football. You got two high-powered teams battling it out. It's going to be epic. It's going to be an amazing thing. Even if you don't rock with the Chargers and Chiefs, I know you got them on their fantasy team, so there's no point in not watching. I'll tell you what, we're looking forward to it. This rivalry goes back 60.
The press conference now. Another player will be. Sauce Gardner is approaching the press conference room. Sauce Gardner is approaching the press conference room. Thank you.
North phone call. That's got to be a quarterback. You think? They were making calls to teams inside the top 10. That's what they're doing the show. Well, let's get the Saints pick first.
With the 11th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Chris Olave.
All right. So the New Orleans Saints select Chris Olave with the 11th overall pick. They trade up. They get their guy. Obviously, earlier it was, Garrett. Oh, goodness, I'm blanking.
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. Thank you very much. Garrett Wilson goes to the New York Jets with the 10th overall pick. Now the Saints get Olave, second-team All-Pro or All-American selection in 2021. What do you think about this pick? Olave going to join Michael Thomas, Jameis Winston. Well, if Michael Thomas is healthy, how do you feel about this pick, Brandon?
I think it's a very interesting pick. I thought we both kind of looked at each other and said quarterback for the Saints when they traded up.
Yeah.
But you pair Olave with Michael Thomas and that crew, you kind of get another receiver in the building for New Orleans. The only thing is, who's going to play quarterback? Honestly, you got, I believe, Jameis Winston still under contract.
Ian Book from Notre Dame.
So, I mean, you get more weapons for Jameis Winston. Chris Olave has been he goes right back-to-back with his other Ohio State counterpart, Garrett Wilson. I actually had him ranked as my 6th wide receiver that I looked at. Deep runner. He was a pretty big deep threat down the field. Good route runner. The main thing I saw from him was he didn't have a lot of yards after the catch is what caught on for me from the tape. But he was a good route runner and a good deep threat, which I think is something that can help the Saints. So overall, I think it's a good pick. Little surprising he wasn't quarterback, but I like the move here for New Orleans.
All right, back again as I am not even recording, but all right, so Chris Olave, again, going number 11 overall to the New Orleans Saints. Number 10, with the New York Giants pick, they took Garrett Wilson, and I'm getting to the draft tracker. First overall, of course, Travon Walker. What'd you think about the pick? Obviously, you had said Aiden Hutchinson. Athleticism-wise, I probably would have said Aiden Hutchinson myself. What was the reaction like for you?
I wasn't too surprised. Travon Walker was listed based on the betting odds to be the first overall pick. I just watching tape, I didn't think he was as polished as Aiden Hutchinson was. So I was a little surprised that Balky and the Jaguars went there with the first pick. But overall, Balky got a guy, and the Jaguars are moving forward with Travon Walker. Still a great player from Georgia. And then Hutchinson goes number 2 to Detroit, which I think is just the perfect fit for him, especially coming from Michigan, gets to stay home.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be good, too. And you all know Dan Campbell also likes his defensive players, and I think there's no better player than Aiden Hutchinson for him.
Big defensive
at number
guy.
2 as well, yeah.
Thus far right now, you're looking at, let me give you a couple of hypotheticals. So you had Sauce Gardner go number 4 to the Jets out of Cincinnati. Derek Stingley to Houston at number 3 overall. Some might have expected it. To me, because we were sitting across from us, we befriended a lot of people, and the gentleman right next to me was telling me that he was hearing that Kayvon Thibodeau was going to go at number 3, and then they ended up taking Derek Stingley, which was an absolute surprise. What do you think the biggest surprise was so far for you in the first 10 picks, Brandon?
How about Charles Cross going to Seattle? I didn't really expect them to go tackle. I thought that was an interesting move. I thought they'd for sure either go defense or go quarterback. But tackle there for Pete Carroll's squad. Charles Cross had him ranked as the 3rd offensive tackle for me out of the offensive tackles I had looked at. Great pass blocker, something I think will be big, especially with Drew Lock kind of coming in for Seattle now. No more Russell Wilson who can escape at ease. Instead, you get Drew Lock. Pretty good at picking up stunts, too, which is something I noticed from his tape. So not a bad pick for Seattle, but I was a little shocked that they went tackle.
Winner thus far of the 2022 NFL Draft, what do you like?
Winners so far.
Yeah. What are some winners? I'll go ahead and give you mine.
Yeah, go ahead first.
All right, I'll go first. Whereas you hear in the background, Sauce Gardner is going to be going to speak with the media. God, they really keep those. I like New York. I like the Giants. They get the best tackle, arguably, of this draft. Likewise, they get Kayvon Thibodeau, who was touted at one point the best player in this draft, and they nag him, Kayvon Thibodeau, at 5, and then Evan Neal at number 7 as the commissioners back at the podium. Speaking of a second pick in the first round, Detroit Lions with their second pick
also
of the first
traded
round.
up.
Yes, they did trade up. Wow.
And another wide receiver off the board. So you've seen teams trade up for wide receivers here.
Wow.
Jamison Williams now goes to Detroit.
Wow. What a pick. What a pickup for the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell. You get Aiden Hutchinson, arguably the best player of this draft, and Jamison Williams on many boards, many accounts. We called him the best receiver of this class, obviously competing with the liking of Drake London, Treylon Burks, Chris Olave. I would say up on the top 2, you're looking at Treylon Burks and Jamison Williams. I think this is a huge pickup for the Detroit Lions, taking Williams at number 2 overall, the number 12 overall, but their second pick. His timetable for coming back. A lot of people speculate it's going to be training camp, maybe a little bit later, but definitely blows the top off the secondaries. Big, stocky receiver. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a good pick for Detroit.
Another target for Goff.
Yeah. They needed more explosiveness in their receiver core for Detroit. Obviously, last year was a little bit challenging in that point, but now they got another target for Goff, and can't speak here. But anyway,
Well,
Good pick there for Detroit. Jamison Williams, I think it was a steal there trading up in nagging wide receiver.
You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got T.J. Hawkinson. Khalif Raymond picked up a little bit of steam. He's more so of a return man, not really in the receiving rotation. But Jamison Williams, to me, I think is automatically your number one receiver. Yeah, I think he's there. He's going to be the guy coming in. And then likewise on the defensive front, you get the pass rush with Aiden Hutchinson. Just great performance thus far by the Lions so far.
Pretty good draft so far for the Lions. Back to kind of what we were talking about in terms of steals. One pick, I did London that pick. Another wide receiver that went early. Actually, the first wide receiver off the board, I had Drake London as my first rated wide receiver. I think it's a great pick for Atlanta. Yak Machine is Drake London. I mean, he was a yak machine watching his tape, good at drop stepping and kind of going forward. Kind of reminded me a lot of just players, getting a lot of yards after the catch in the NFL. I can name all sorts of players of that nature that are in the league right now. Cooper Kupp, for example. But that's what I kind of liked about Drake London for sure, and him going to Atlanta. I think that's a steal for the Falcons and a good pick there.
So right now at 13, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles on the clock. Of course, they behold the 13th pick, and then they've got the 18th. They had swapped some picks with New Orleans. New Orleans picks at 19. Of course, that trade went down roughly about a month ago. What do we think the Eagles could potentially do here at number 13 overall? Some of their needs, looking for another receiver. Obviously, one of the more faster receivers that kind of would complement a guy like Devontae Smith, that being Garrett Wilson.
Traylon Burks possibility.
Traylon Burks, but they're really the same size, though, the same stature.
That's true.
I just don't know how you would. I don't know if that's really much of a necessity there for them.
How about Kyle Hamilton?
Okay, all right, yeah. Or Jordan Davis right now going defensive tackle. I know that they signed Fletcher Cox to a one-year deal, so bringing Jordan Davis in to learn under Fletcher Cox would actually be a pretty good acquisition here. But I do like the Kyle Hamilton one. To me, reminds me of Justin Simmons, a great coverage safety.
I think the Eagles can use the help on the defensive side of the ball more than offense. I mean, they got their receiver last draft with Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
I think they might go defense here.
I am curious to know what they might do, what Howie Roseman's got cooked up right now. I'm trying to think of other spots. Excuse me.
Offensive line, mainly the three top offensive linemen have already went. Charles Cross,
yes,
Evan Neal.
And I don't really think that's a point of emphasis for them right at the moment right now. I definitely think defensive line and safety would be two of the priorities for them. So I definitely like Kyle Hamilton here. He is just sliding.
He has slid a lot from where he was mocked before. So.
Well, I take that back. Jermaine Johnson's still on the board. Oh, well, they did bring in Hassan Reddick. Excuse me. I was thinking of Carolina. My fault. They did bring in Hassan Reddick, signed him to a deal. But, I mean, it maybe might not hurt to bring in a young pass rusher like Jermaine Johnson, arguably the fourth best defensive end edge in this class.
Me and you both thought he was going to go in the top 10, and here he is still on the board at 13. So
and what was
be surprising?
What was crazy was there was speculation he was going to go in the top 5, arguably even top 4, top 3. The New York Jets, coming into today, they were talking about, the New York Jets could potentially go with him at 4th overall, or even to get up on some really good talent.
No quarterbacks off the board yet either.
I'm still holding out hope that 4 is going to be the magic number. I think 4 over 4 is going to be the magic number tonight. I still think that there's going to be 4 quarterbacks.
I think at this point we reached the 13th pick and no quarterbacks have been taken. I think it'll be kind of a stretch if there's 4, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm holding out hope, man. I really do think. So looking at this backstretch here, as we go over to the pick lineup, I think Baltimore picks next. Right now they are on the clock. Houston at 15. That's an intriguing one. I'm curious to see what Houston does.
Yeah, because Houston traded back as Philly traded up. So
yes, that is correct.
That was the other team that they traded with. So 15 will be pretty big.
Could they go Jermaine Johnson with the edge?
You could potentially see that. I can definitely see Jermaine Johnson going here to the Eagles, though. I think Baltimore has been mocked to Kyle Hamilton, so I think if Kyle Hamilton makes it past this pick, then Baltimore will go that direction. But we'll see.
There is also I'll give you my 2. Actually, I'll give you a cold, warm, hot. All right, this is just a guess.
All right.
All right, cold right now. You ready for this? We said, okay, cold right now, Jordan Davis. Trent McDuffie, cornerback out of
Trent
Washington.
McDuffie, nice.
He's my third favorite corner on this board. He's the hardest hitter of any corner on this board, in my opinion.
I have him ranked third too.
Yes, I think he's the third best guy. Typically, with Washington, they always put Marcus Peters, Byron Murphy, I want to say.
I believe he's on
Arizona.
Yeah.
He plays for Arizona.
Yeah.
And then now a guy like Trent McDuffie, he could potentially go here to Philly. And then on the back end, oh yes, hot. Kyle Hamilton. Did I say Kyle Hamilton?
To Philly?
The hot one. I like
hot one.
I like Kyle
Like the
Hamilton.
hot take.
Yes, I like Kyle
You can
Hamilton.
definitely see that. Yeah.
That is a good pick. All right. Now, I just want to kind of go in the future here while we're waiting on this pick. What are we thinking about the trade front? Because right now it's been relatively quiet. The whole Baker Mayfield thing is kind of silent.
Fizzled a little bit.
Obviously, Deebo Samuel is quiet. That first. Jimmy G, Houston on the clock here.
Houston is on the clock coming up. Honestly, the two areas I thought that we would have potentially saw a trade was 6, and for sure Carolina was going to make a move. Didn't happen. The fact that they went offensive line signals to me, or went in another direction besides quarterback, it signals to me that they're maybe going to trade later into the round. We'll see, though.
Okay.
Number 10, the Jets. Obviously, that was the pick that was offered to Deebo Samuel. John Lynch turned it down.
Yeah.
So they went ahead with their selection, Garrett Wilson. But, yeah, I think this will be – not sure where trades go from here, but I'm very intrigued to see where they go.
Oh, I'm gonna break the news now just to see what we've got. And we were – wow. Okay,
It's
wow.
Roger Goodell about to pick. Announce it.
Wow. Wow. Jordan Davis here is going to be taken. And then right on the back end, Ravens take Kyle Hamilton. Wow. Okay. So they replace Earl Thomas. They get Kyle Hamilton, bring him in. Young talent for the secondary.
Where I thought Kyle Hamilton would end up if he was
in Baltimore?
In Baltimore, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Davis, who, I mean, you look at that entire Georgia front. Travon Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Jordan Davis. At one point, Jermaine Johnson with defensive front. I'm a kind of apprentice under Fletcher Cox as the pick is just announced.
Oh, I think it'll be big time.
Game record.
Especially pairing him up with Fletcher Cox, too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Philly defensive lines can be scary. I think they need that, too, kind of in the NFC East.
You know, I wonder, and maybe my resident Eagles fan, Heath Neville, a good friend back home, shout out to Heath, if he would be able, if I guess Nick Sirianni is the head coach for the Eagles. He's an offensive-minded coach. He worked with Matt Eberflus. Is that defense a disciple of the 4-3 front? And could they switch over to maybe some 3-4 looks with Jordan Davis, plugging him up at nose tackle? Well, I guess you have Fletcher Cox playing the nose tackle position as well, always has been. And then he could play over in the 3 technique. So the A-gap, 3 technique, it doesn't matter. Both of those guys are dynamic and game wreckers. I think it's a good pick. I'm curious to see how it works out, and I'm curious to see what those fronts are going to look like with Fletcher Cox and Davis on the same front.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they use them. But, I mean, Jordan Davis, pretty big dude, 6'6", 360 pounds. I mean,
yeah.
He's a tough guy to move on the defensive line. So.
And I really want to know, because we talked about this. It seems like all the Georgia products had really superb speed for as big as they are. Travon Walker ran a 4.55, 4.6, somewhere in there. Dude, there's not even receivers that can run that. It's absolutely
pretty
impressive.
Yeah,
it's remarkable. So I got to see what Jordan Davis's 40 time was, because I'm just curious to see how fast the big man was moving. I'm going to get that pulled up. Give me a second. I should have had it pulled up on the screen. I'm unprepared. I love the suit. Look at the suit on this man. Represent.
some pretty flashy suits that we've seen so far.
So,
this first round.
So Jordan Davis ran a 4.78. Now keep in mind he is 6'6", 341 pounds, and he ran a 4.78. That is fast. It's very
crazy.
fast.
It's crazy fast.
Man. Dude, that's crazy. It's insane. I guess we can go on to the Kyle Hamilton pick. I'm really curious to see what the Texans do. I really don't care about Kyle. I mean, yeah, Kyle Hamilton's a good pickup.
He's probably the best safety in the draft. He fell a little bit, and
That's
now
probably
being picked up by Baltimore. But
it's probably candidacy for the steal of the draft because Kyle Hamilton at one point also got his fair share of recognition at being the #1 prospect in this draft. So I'm curious to know how he enhances that secondary. I want to go over and see. I'm going to pull up here the Baltimore Ravens passing defense coming out of last year. I want to see how they were against opposing offenses in the pass game. As I get it pulled up here, I want you to kind of just, I guess, maybe highlight what this back end is looking like right now, because we've got, I think the Washington Commanders are coming up, Houston's coming up, and then the Commanders. I got to look at that order again. Give me 1 second.
well, with that pick by Baltimore that's about to be announced, not yet. We're a little bit ahead of the game here, but Kyle Hamilton, his awareness from what I've seen is pretty much off the charts. Like,
yeah,
he'll fly all over the field. He's the type of safety I think that can cover multiple guys if there's no one if he has to. Pretty good tackler, races big plays. He can also, automatically line up against the opposing team's best receivers, so he's able to be versatile in that way. And a lot of quarterbacks, from what I've seen, pretty terrified to throw his way towards. It's going to be a great pick for the Ravens.
Baltimore was worse in the league. They stand at last, 32nd overall in most yards allowed, 4,742 passing yards last year. And if I go over to their passing percentage, the completion percentage rather, they ranked out at 22nd, allowing 63.9% pass, especially from the back end, the second, third level.
Being 32nd overall, it's definitely going to be an improvement for the Ravens in their secondary. So.
I don't even know what he's comprised of right now. I'm very curious.
No Earl Thomas anymore. I mean, he was like the most notable piece.
Yeah, right.
And then they got rid of him.
Yeah.
Now you bring in basically Kyle Hamilton. I don't know. I can't think of anyone else. Marcus Peters, is he still there?
Dude, somebody wants to hit the comments and just tell us what that secondary is comprised of right now. We feel so bad because we're like, what the hell is in their secondary? My goodness. All right, so keep on going through those picks now. We'll move on from Baltimore since that pick's about to be announced. I think we've got Chargers fixing the clock. I'm going to look at